Estás pronto para expandir a tua mente? Bem-vindo ao Mindset Talks, o podcast que explora as chaves para desbloquear todo o teu potencial. Malta, sejam muito bem-vindos aqui a mais um episódio Mindset Talks Podcast. E hoje é inédito, hoje trago-vos uma convidada dos Estados Unidos, de Maine, onde vamos falar aqui sobre um pouco do seu trabalho, sobretudo no campo da hipnoterapia. E este podcast vai ser em inglês, portanto, malta, se vocês estão desse lado, preparem-se. Quem não sabe inglês vai ter que aprender um bocadinho, porque este episódio é inédito, é estreia em inglês. Vamos a isso, estão preparados? Vamos dar aqui as boas-vindas à nossa convidada. So, Adrienne, how do you say it? Adrienne. Okay, Adrienne, welcome to the podcast, to the community, Mindset Talks podcast. And I mean, now you're part of the community now.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, I appreciate you accepting my invitation. I mean, as I was explaining to our community here, you're the first English language, so to speak, guest here in the podcast. So
I'm so honored, truly.
I'm pretty excited. So, have you ever recorded any podcasts before? I'm curious.
Just once before. It was on audio only, and it was many years ago. Lots of fun, lots of laughing.
Nice. Well, here the concept is very different, and the community is already used to it, so you'll be comfortable, and we'll be diving right now, right away on your work. But before we do, we are recording in Montijo. You are living here, right?
Yes.
But you're from United States, Maine.
Yes.
And you are living here now in Montijo. How does this happen? I'm curious.
I am actually writing a book on positive mindset and
Good.
The mind and body connection.
Good.
And I spent months writing and decided that I needed to build a companion app to go with it, a wellness app. And I just decided that to get away and to a nice, peaceful, quiet space would be the most beneficial way for me to really get into finishing the work that I needed to do. And so I did some research and found that Portugal is very supportive of mental health and wellness and technology. And so the fit seemed very natural, and I was excited to come here and be part of the community and learn as much as I can about the culture and really try to mesh and give and receive at the same time.
Exactly. Well, you know, maybe better than I do that, you know, the universe, the energies. So we get in return what we give back. So I also believe in that. And you can be, you know, blunt. How is the Portuguese community treating you?
Very kind.
You can be serious. You can be, you know, I'm kidding.
No, the people here have been so welcoming and kind and very patient with me trying to learn to speak.
Nice. Portuguese, yeah?
Yes.
Are you learning Portuguese?
I'm trying.
Okay.
Very slow. It's challenging.
Okay. Nice. And they are, you know, we are very open people, right? We are very host people. We like to host other countries, other cultures. And I mean, I think we do a pretty good job, on that department. Anyway, you, came from Maine to, Montijo to do your book. So let us talk about a bit that, but you know, from the beginning, you are a hypnotherapist, right?
Correct.
Okay. How did you find out, how did you found hypnotherapy? How does hypnotherapy, you know, enters your life?
I had a restaurant at the time, and I was finding that I was under a lot of stress and was as well as my employees, all seem to have many challenges in their life, anxiety and addictions and all kinds of challenges. My background also came from a very dysfunctional childhood.
Okay.
And my mother was not well mentally.
Okay.
So I spent pretty much my whole life trying to find answers to help her. And when I had the restaurant, I decided that I needed to help my employees because we wanted to be the strongest, best team. And one thing led to another, and I found a school on rapid transformational hypnotherapy, and I signed up, and it took me maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years to complete, and it absolutely changed my life. I set out to help other people, and I received the most incredible help for myself as well. And it's been profound and deeply transformative personally, and just such a joy to now be practicing and helping other people.
But that's a curious thing, right? So we usually tend to help others, we know, with all the tools and all the knowledge. But in the beginning, we mainly help ourselves first, because we also perceive and understand that we have also stuff going on that we need to resolve, right?
Yes.
Was it like that with you too?
Yes, I didn't even realize. I thought that I had done all of the healing. I thought that I had done all of the work for myself that I needed to do. I've worked very hard, and tried lots of different, therapies and, wellness and I've tried everything and really thought that, I had worked it all out. And when I began studying and really practicing and learning, there was so much about the subconscious mind that I wasn't even aware of. Patterns and, just subconscious things that I had stemmed from childhood that I just wasn't aware of.
Can you give us an example? For instance, what is like, the main pattern that you have seen in your work with clients, that it has a tendency to be present, almost in everybody that needs to do that type of work?
So one of the most universal things that I've found that I've experienced, and I think most everybody has experienced, is this self-doubt and not feeling like you're enough and you don't maybe fit in and that maybe you don't belong there because you're not good enough, and just kind of that self-esteem hurdles that you have to overcome, and you put so much energy and conscious effort into overcoming those anxieties and fears, and not understanding that it's patterns that really usually always stem from childhood. They're learned behavior, and it's not until you become aware that they're subconscious that it makes sense to you.
So we're talking about traumas, we're talking about limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs is a topic that I love to talk about. And I talk about it a lot. I used to talk about it a lot online. Now, I don't do it so much, but I mostly talk about it offline. But let's talk about it, limiting beliefs, because we are all surrounded by limiting beliefs. If you guys want to check, Adrienne, website, you will find, let me check here your website real quick. You talk about limiting beliefs as well, right?
Yes.
So for our community to know, your website is AdrienneWylder.com. Correct? Good. And you talk here about limiting beliefs, among other stuffs as well. Let's talk about limiting beliefs. Being not good enough. Is it true that limiting belief, it's the number one, possibly the number one limiting belief that we all have?
Could very well be.
Why do you think, what is that? Why do you think, in the human behavior and, the human society, we always feel that we are not good enough?
So that's a big subject in the book that I'm writing. And I like to think of it as glass boxes. Oh. If you picture yourself in an invisible glass box, those are your limits. They're invisible to you, but they're very solid when you try to break through. And it's not until you become aware that you've created these glass boxes that you can begin to shatter them and break through. So it can start something very, very simple, or, you don't have to have huge trauma to develop a limiting belief. It could be something as simple as you're in a classroom as a child, and the teacher asks you to stand in front of the class and read. And maybe there are some kids in the class that are giggling and laughing and looking at you, and all of a sudden you get that anxiety and get self-conscious and nervous and embarrassed, and it has this emotional effect on you. And that is enough to believe that it's safer to stay quiet, to not use your voice, to not stand up, to not be seen. It can trigger all kinds of these beliefs that really are not true. And they can stay with you for years and years. And so, just a small experience like that, 10 years, 15 years, you might not know why it's hard for you to stand up in front of people or be seen or to have your voice heard. It's different for everybody, but it can be very simple. And then, of course, there are major traumas too that can.
Yes, because it can turn into a phobia. And then that is actually a good example, because, when we have stuff like that happening to us when we are, teenagers, then we grow up to adult life, and then we don't have a consciousness, so present, why we are so nervous in group meetings, in board meetings, presentations, whatever, sales pitch, for example. People who have those blocks, those traumas, those limiting beliefs, right? They don't really understand why they get so anxious. They just say, I'm too nervous to speak in front of people. I don't like it. But it all goes back, from the time that we grew up. Why do you think that, people don't search for, obviously the work that you do, right? Why do you think people don't even question why I am like this? Why I'm nervous like this? Why I have this phobia? They just, let it go on years and years and years.
I think often for people, they just think it's who they are. They accept it as maybe, there's something wrong with them. It's just the way I am. I just don't like that. It's just the way I am. I don't believe I can change. And I don't think people, generally, unless you're presented with the challenge to really examine the reasons, just kind of accept it as, oh, that's just my personality. It's just how I am.
So they assimilate it as their identity.
Yes.
Was it that like with you as well?
Sure.
For how long?
I struggled with being in front of people and speaking my voice until my 30s, maybe even lingering into my 40s. I'm 53 now.
Okay, I wasn't going to ask. So, listen, everybody, I wasn't going to ask. It's not polite, but you said it. It's fine.
To be transparent.
Well, you look very good for your age, by the way.
Thank you.
So, don't worry about it. Age is a number, right? So.
Yep.
But, until your 40s, when did you start to realize, that you had those limiting beliefs, those phobias? Even before when you found hypnotherapy, right? You must have a click, something that made you perceived, made you understand that, made you see actually that, okay, there's something here that it's not right. I need to search, I need to find some answers.
It started when I began practicing gratitude and forgiveness. So, I began learning about the power of letting go, about forgiving others and forgiving myself, and having a lot of grace with myself and a lot of forgiveness and patience. And it led to years of learning how to become forgiving with myself and how to celebrate every little win. Becoming my own best friend and my own cheerleader, my own coach, and getting rid of that critical voice that I tended to have, that when I got up in front of people and I would start shaking and sweating, that little voice in the back of your head that says, you don't belong here. Look at you. You're not good enough. Everybody's going to judge you. You don't know what you're talking about. You blah, blah, blah. All the bad things. And when I started to learn forgiveness, grace with myself, my voice, my internal voice, no, that's not true. That's a lie. That critical voice became softer and quieter, and my cheerleader voice, my best friend's voice, became louder and louder to the point where that's the only one I pay attention to.
How hard it is to do that type of work with yourself?
It was a process.
How challenging? Let's change the word. How challenging was that type of process?
Challenging. It wasn't hard. So it was more repetition, doing it over and over and remembering, noticing those patterns. It wasn't like hard work. It was remembering, like reminding myself. And so when I would let that critical voice take over, which it did a lot in the beginning, and I would remember sometimes, a week later, you've been beating yourself up for a whole week about something you said or, something silly. And then I'd remember that's right. That's an old pattern. We don't have to do this anymore. And I would talk to myself kinder and say, you can let that go. It's okay. You're safe to let that go. You don't need to listen to that. And the more times that I remembered and practiced, the easier it became until it took no effort at all. It was the repetition, creating the new neural pathways in the brain where, that old way of thinking kind of just slowly over time started to die out, and a new way of thinking just naturally took over. And so, it was difficult, so to speak, but at the same time, it was a little bit effortless, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I think probably at home, they are understanding as well. I see that, as, some type of liberation, of the process, when you start doing it, because, that, it's a process of self-knowledge, right? So you need to do that work first. Self-knowledge, self-awareness, self-consciousness. So you don't get hijacked, so to speak, with the negative thoughts, right? So with the negative self-doubt, and those limiting beliefs, because it's very easy for us to go down that road, right?
Yeah.
And what about, forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, self-forgiveness? Is it, very, now I will use this word. Is it very hard for us to forgive ourselves? Or is it really just another limiting belief that we have, and we need just to work on it and, do the process?
Again, I think it takes a lot of practice. It's so much easier to forgive other people than it is,
that is, right,
to forgive yourself.
Why does that happen? Why is it so? Right? People outside, they hurt us.
Crazy.
Okay, it's fine, don't worry about it, okay, but then we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, right? We don't forgive ourselves. Why do you think that happened on your experience, right? And on the work that you do?
Yeah, well, I think that, it's in our nature to want to help other people, and it comes naturally.
Okay.
But when we think about considering ourselves, you've got that critical voice that hijacks any possibility.
Yeah.
I think it's just you have to be deliberately intentional about forgiving yourself and showing yourself grace.
Yeah, it's not an easy process because if we start to deconstruct, I think that's the word, deconstruct.
Mm-hmm.
No? Deconstruct. Yeah.
In English.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. This is a very challenging episode for me as well, because I speak English, on a daily basis, but to do an episode like this, it's also challenging for me. I'm leaving my comfort zone now. Well, thank you. So deconstruct the process of self-forgiveness. You have frustration, you have anger, you have sorrow. You have lots of these emotions that are stuck inside of us, right? And especially anger. We feel, because for many reasons that, any individual may have, we have lots of anger because of stuff of life, stuff that people did to us, right? And I think that the most challenging part of that process of forgiving ourselves comes from maybe dealing, with the process of the anger process. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yes. One thing that I find very fascinating about the way that the mind works is the brain understands the emotion that you feel more than logic. Emotion overrides logic. So, if you're feeling anger, you might tell yourself, I shouldn't feel this way. I need to do better. I need to, be less angry. But the emotions are what the mind understands. And as I'm sure you know, the emotions get stuck in different places in your body. And sometimes you're not aware that that's happening.
Do you ever had ever had a client with, an emotional attachment really strong, on his process, that he wanted to work on? He or she?
Yes, I had a woman who had a lot of emotional trauma early in life, and her posture was always like this.
Very tense, right?
And so she stored all of her tension and her stress all right in her shoulders and neck. And when we were doing a session, we went back and went to some key memories in her past. And it's funny because her memory was so strong. There were 3 different scenes that we went back to, and every scene, whatever the situation was, she was always like this in the scene.
Okay.
And it became a familiar stress response that her body learned. And it went into her adulthood, and she never realized that. And just that moment of realization, she felt her shoulders and her neck and everything kind of relax. And it was so different. And over time, it just became more and more so. And she did some work with body work, therapist, and released a lot of trauma from her body.
That's very good, because we were talking before we started to record this episode. The body tends to get, accumulate lots of tension and stress, also in an emotional level. And it's funny because many people don't know that, don't understand that. Talking about hypnotherapy, right? Is it, I'm going to be a little bit, provocative now.
Okay.
Is it, hypnotherapy, does it work? Is it real science? Is it not real science? Does it have, basis, grounds? What are your thoughts on that?
It's people who aren't familiar with this type of therapy, there's so much misconception around what it is, and fears like it's pseudoscience. It's not real science. Many of the fears are that you will lose control. Like stage hypnosis is different than hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
And that's not true at all. During a session, it's just like being very relaxed, like a meditation. Most people don't even realize that they're under hypnosis.
Okay.
You just go into a deep relaxation where your mind can relax and do the work that it needs to do. There's so much science behind it, and I talk about it a lot in this book that I'm writing. It's all based on neuroscience, and over the years, just more and more and more research is coming out on why it works, and it's really profound, because it's fact that we have these subconscious patterns that we're not aware of. Our body stores these things, and when you go back and address them and see, there's a profound release and aha moment that happens, and it is based on neuroscience and psychology.
I was very curious where the haha came from, because you have it on your website, right? The AHHAH Method.
AHHAH.
Now I understand it. So it's like a AHHAH moment.
Exactly.
Okay, nice. So,
AHHAH.
people, when you go and Google, Adrienne website, you'll see the AHHAH Method. You'll know it's because of the AHHAH moment. Yeah, I was very curious. What is the AHHAH Method? But, you were talking about your book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are writing a book. That is why you are here in Montijo, for a few months now. What is this book that you're writing? What is it called first? Let's talk about a bit.
The title is DEPROGRAM.
Oh, you have it on your website. Let me check. You have it on your website. Right? Yeah,
I don't have a lot of information about it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So people, here it is, right?
Yes.
Here it is on her website. DEPROGRAM. Okay. Adrienne Wylder. Okay. This is the book that you're writing right now. Okay.
Yes. And so it's called DEPROGRAM, which is kind of self-explanatory. When you deprogram yourself from the beliefs and the limitations that have been programmed into your mind over the years. And I have created my own method of healing called the AHHAH Method. And it's really just step by step. It breaks it down step by step. From the first A is aligning with yourself, just becoming your own best friend.
Okay.
And we have H for habits, how to identify your habits and how to recognize them. And it goes on just I'm still writing it, so I'm switching things around a little bit. Fine. I'm not going to give up too much.
No, don't be a spoiler. Guys, no spoiling. Okay. Whatever you're comfortable in sharing, right? But your book, it's mainly, about deprogramming, but, on your work experience, on hypnotherapy experience. Is that correct?
Yes. It's overcoming your limited beliefs and breaking free from the glass boxes that we are in.
Yeah, we all have them. Sometimes it's very challenging to be free of them. But when is, I don't know if you have a date, or a timeline already set for the book to be launched. Did you have it, or you're just going with the flow?
Going with the flow. I'm hoping that the book will be launched within the next 3 months, 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And then I'm building an app to go with it. That will take a little bit longer. Just doing some testing, usability testing, and making sure all of the tools in there are the right ones and they work all together with the methodology in the book. So that might be 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Before launching.
Okay. The app itself.
The app. Yes.
The app. Okay.
Yeah.
Will the book be, physical or just, digital, format?
Both.
Both. Good. And will the book be available here in Portugal?
Of course.
All right. So you guys know where we're going with this.
Both in English and in Portuguese.
Oh, you're in Portuguese as well?
Yeah.
Good. So I want one, when the launch happens, of course, tell me, because we would like to have it here on our community, of course, and, no more spoiling on the book, because we would love to see it released, of course, and I'm a book, how do you say it? Bookworm? No.
Yes.
Bookworm, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I read a lot, so
excellent.
I will be very excited to read your book as well.
Well, I will have to share it with you before it publishes. I have a small group of people that I have invited to share and give their feedback before launch.
Well, what
just
a privilege.
To make sure that it resonates.
Okay. I'm honored. Thank you very much. It will be a pleasure. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, thank you. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. We'll talk about that, later on. Thank you.
Fantastic.
So going back to hypnotherapy, right? Because as you said, this is like, it's still an area that people, mock on and make fun of. I also have, so Portuguese friends, professionals that do also hypnotherapy work.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be recorded here. I have to find a way to, connect you with them. I think it will be very interesting. They work in Lisbon. Yeah. And I think it will be very interesting for you guys to connect.
Oh, I would love that.
How can a professional, in hypnotherapy can make it, how can I say this? How can he or she make the work, when it comes out to the community, that the community sees it as a professional work, right? It doesn't get the mocking and, and the make fun of, you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I think that the more we can educate the public on easy to understand concepts that tie in, the more acceptable it becomes. If it would be okay with you, I can do a quick demonstration on how the mind and the body are connected. So,
well, yeah, sure, I'm up for it.
Okay.
But I'm going to be your subject? No?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, guys, this is the first one.
It will be very quick.
On the podcast, so.
But it's going to prove to you that the mind and the body are so connected, and that the words and the pictures, the thoughts that we think have a direct effect on the body.
Okay. Are you going to make me cry?
Not at all.
So, I'm up for it. Yeah, let's go for it.
So, if you close your eyes.
Okay. Guys, if this episode doesn't release, well, they don't know it because it's been recorded. So, okay. So, I'm going to close my eyes. Let's go.
And in your hand, I want you to picture that you have an orange in your hand. A bright, juicy orange. It's cool to your touch. You can feel the texture as you roll it around in your hands. And I want you to picture putting your thumb right through the skin of that orange and breaking into it and slowly peeling it back so that it exposes the inside of the orange. And as you break open that juicy, fragrant orange, you can smell that citrus hit your nose. It even gives a little bit of spray as you peel it back, and it touches your lips and the smell becomes more intense. And as you complete peeling the orange, we're not going to be civilized about this. You're just going to take that orange and shove it right into your mouth. Shove your teeth right into the juicy, juicy flesh of that orange. And the taste is overwhelming. It's just so fresh and delicious. And it's amazing. And you just suck it up and drink the juice and taste that wonderful taste. Now you can open your eyes and tell me, is your mouth salivating?
Yes, it is.
Do you have saliva in your mouth?
Yes, it is.
So, just words and pictures that you put into your head creates a physical response from your body. So, imagine if for years and years and years, you tell yourself, I can't do that. I'm stupid. I'm a jerk. I don't belong. I'm awkward. Whatever those harsh, hurtful words that you say to yourself, imagine what that does inside your body. When you do it over and over and over again, it creates a superhighway in your brain that becomes normal and subconscious. So if just a simple, just in 10 seconds, just visualizing an orange can have an effect on your body. Take and replace those negative words with positive thoughts, with positive words, good things, and practice that over and over and over again. You're going to have great things happen.
Yeah, because it all comes down to our thoughts, right? To not all, but I understand what you're getting at, because we in a part of us, we are what we think and what we feel, right? So if we tend to be thinking every time, all the time, negative thoughts, we have negative emotions. In consequence, we have negative actions. And then we have negative results.
Right. Or the limiting beliefs.
Beliefs, yes. What was, in your work experience, what was your not worst, but your most maybe difficult, clients that you had to work with, that had, a really challenging situation going on? If you can share, of course, not mentioning names, obviously.
Yes. Okay. So this is an interesting story because the woman that I worked with, I don't think she really understood what hypnotherapy was. And maybe, like a lot of people, she just had no idea. And so I told her, she asked me what problems it could address, or, is it only for quitting smoking or, things like that. And I said, basically, if you can wave a magic wand and change something in your life or something about yourself, what would that be? It can address anything because your mind is powerful and it solves its own problems. So she said, okay. She said, I want to work with you. She says, I want you to wave your magic wand and make my brother and sister stop bullying me. And this woman is in her late 60s. And she said that it's been going on her whole life. Her older sister and brother had bullied her whole life. And at her age, she found that she had created a very happy life, successful life for herself. She had built a beautiful new house and wonderful relationship with her husband and her daughter. And her siblings would say things like, don't you think you're special? Aren't you something? Wow. What a house, huh? It's just very derogatory and it affected her. It was a source that made her feel guilty for having the things and the beautiful life that she had created. So
she worked for it, right? She
absolutely, she deserved everything that she had worked for. And so I was like, interesting. Okay, well, I have no control over your brother and sister, but that's okay. Let's do a session. And so we went back to a few memories. One was very difficult. She was a young child and they lived in a small house. They did not have a lot of money. So there were 3 children, her and her 2 older siblings. And one day her father went out to get groceries and never came home. Just vanished.
Okay.
So the second scene was the mother had taken the children to her father's house and to live with him. But it was the client's grandfather. The grandfather did not want them there. He had them there only out of obligation.
Okay.
And he didn't like children. And he didn't want them around. They weren't to be seen, kind of stay out of his presence. And there was another scene where the window was held by these old-fashioned cords. I don't know if you have that kind of Portugal.
Yes, we have.
Like a heavy wooden window. And so she was playing and she did something on the window, came crashing down onto her fingers and, locked her fingers into the windowsill on both hands. And she was stuck there and screaming bloody murder for help, just in pain, screaming.
I can only imagine.
Right?
I mean, Jesus.
I know. So after screaming and yelling, her grandfather opened the door to the room she was in and yelled at her. He looked at her and saw that her fingers were stuck in the windowsill, and he yelled at her and told her to quit her screaming, to stop her nonsense, and said, "Would your brother and sister carry on like that? Quiet. Okay." And he shut the door and left her in distress, and she was afraid to scream, but she was stuck. So it was a very horrible scene, a very painful scene that she went to. Fortunately for her, a neighbor had heard her screaming also and saw her from the outside and came to her rescue. So that was the second scene. And the third scene was her brother and sister were outside with another kid from the neighborhood, and they were like pushing the kid around, really bullying him, pushing him around and threatening him and calling him names. And my client came up and said, stop it, stop bullying this neighborhood kid. And they pushed Kate and said, "You better get inside or you're next. We'll show you." Okay. So they threatened her. They were very mean. So when she was putting all of these scenes together in our session, the thing that made sense to her was that her brother and sister were older. She was the baby, and she clung to her mother, who was soft and kind and sweet and very wonderful to her, while her older siblings wanted to feel accepted in the house. And so they kind of sucked up to the grandfather, who was very mean. And he thought it was great when they would bully and be mean like him. So the older siblings were trying to be like the grandfather, to be cold and mean and hard, where Kate was trying to be like her mom. So she realized that her siblings became like the grandfather. They became mean and cynical for their own survival. That was their way of staying safe in that house. So when she had her aha moment and realized that it had nothing to do with her being accepted by her brother and sister or being good enough, or it had nothing to do with her, It had everything to do with them. And she could have compassion and forgiveness and not let it affect her anymore. So they could say mean words to her and she'd go, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you decided that that's the way that you were going to stay."
That's very, I mean, while you were sharing this, story, and I thank you for it, because I think lots of people that listen and watch this podcast will resemble themselves in a way, some of sorts, with this story, because here's the thing. This is fascinating, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where you are in the world. These type of situations, these realities, it happens all over the world. It doesn't matter if you're in the US, if you're in Portugal. Here in Portugal, we have stuff like that, similar, very, very much as well. So, a lot. And I'm sure in other parts of the world as well. I mean, so this is the thing. I mean, human beings, human behavior, And the other thing is, everything goes back to our environments and, from the people that we grew up with and the people that supposedly educated us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the grandfather. So her brother and sister, they were like this because their grandfather was like this. It makes us think, how was the grandfather's life with his parents and so on,
exactly.
For him to be like this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it doesn't excuse the behavior.
No, of course not.
It doesn't make it okay, ever.
Of course not.
Never. But it sets you free when you can see
when
that,
you start
when
to deconstruct.
It's like, it doesn't have anything to do with me. I've always been enough. I've always been good enough. I've always belonged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in that story that you told us, of your client, it took her a lifetime to understand that.
Yes.
You said she was in her 60s?
Yes.
You see, a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. She felt inadequate. She always wondered why, like, if she tried harder or did something different, maybe her siblings would finally accept her the way she was. Like there was something wrong with her. The reason why they never accepted her and treated her so poorly. And when she realized that there's absolutely nothing to do with her.
How must have been her life?
Mm-hmm.
Until she reached that point, she understood, she unlocked her powers, let's say like that. I can only imagine. I mean, maybe opportunities that she has missed, maybe, she would probably given more of herself to the world. I don't know. I'm just thinking, right? Because, it's not an easy process.
She found it much easier to love herself and to celebrate the life and be proud of the life that she had created.
Nice.
She was able to let go of the guilt for having a beautiful home.
Nice.
And she didn't feel bad about having a wonderful relationship with her daughter and her husband. She was set herself free.
Is it true that the envy of others hurts us on our way of life deeply? Like trauma, like limiting beliefs.
Yeah, if we allow it.
Yeah, because let's talk about a bit of the success subject, because it's very, at least for me, it's very associated with limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how is the culture in the US. All I know from the US is what I see, on the internet and movies and series. But here in Portugal, we have a tendency to, criticize someone that has lots of success.
Mm.
Anyway, You know, it can be a relationship, can be professionally, can be financially. You know, it doesn't matter the backgrounds. If you are a successful person, I will probably judge you. We have this culture here. Does it happen also in America?
Sure. Yeah. I think, again, talking about universal things that are, you know, whether you're rich or poor or any place in the world, I feel like we can be envious of people's success. And have you heard of something called imposter syndrome?
Oh, of course. I think we all have it. I still have it a little bit.
I associate that sometimes with envy, where you feel like maybe you're not good enough, and so maybe I'm not addressing the question that you asked.
No, it's fine. It will complement it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the expression. Integrated. Yeah. Because the imposter syndrome, it takes us to a place, at least for me, I'm talking about a personal level here. It takes me to a place mainly to that limiting belief that I'm not good enough.
Right.
When it's the complete opposite. I'm really good at what I do. Well, I can give you an example. Just recently, I mean, I know I'm a very good, therapist, manual therapist, sports massage therapist. I don't know. There's so many terms for the same profession nowadays. But I recently had an experience with a colleague where I was, I mean, you know, it was different techniques, you know, a different type of work, also very good. But in that moment, that triggered me like, okay, darn, I didn't know that this was possible to be done like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm still not good enough, you know, maybe I need to learn more. I need to study more.
Yeah.
But I know this is a paradigm, right? At the same time, I know that I'm already good at my job, my profession. So, I mean, you know, we all have it.
Yeah.
In a way or two.
Yeah. I think when we get those feelings, like, I think of it, like you say, when, like, you're starting a new position at a job and you're anxious about the whole thing. And instead of, coming in and saying, "Hey, everybody, you know, this is my first time ever working for this type of a business. I have experience, in these other areas that make me qualified, but just to be transparent, this is new for me, and I could use your support in my new role." Whereas when you're in that imposter, you might come in and try to act like you know more than you know. Be like, these are my new policies. I am your new boss. And, you know, if you're late, you'll be fired, or, you know, come up with these rigid things. And
it's like an alter ego, right? That you have to create.
But talking about the envy of success,
which also,
I think that
creates the imposter syndrome as well.
That feeling of inadequacy, of not being enough, tends to make you put that mask on. And instead of coming authentically, it's easy to perceive the way others are going to see you, and self-criticize. So trying to put it back to the envy.
It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine, because no, they are difficult topics. They are difficult, you know, because we don't have all the answers. When I think about envy, and specifically, for example, hypnotherapy, just out of the blue, I'm thinking, for instance, someone that had, you know, like a traditional background growing up, you know, good schools, good education, good family home. When they go out to the roles, right? And they get criticized for their success, because of people that have also limiting beliefs. How do you manage that? Have you ever gone through the process?
So, it's usually a reflection of what you want yourself to be. Maybe if you see somebody who's super fit and in shape, and you say, whatever, or,
he's lucky, he's good, he has good genetics.
He has good genetics. He probably goes to the gym all the time, and that's his entire life. He probably doesn't have a life outside of the gym. Those thoughts. If you can catch those patterns in your thinking and interrupt them and do a little self-reflection, it's usually about what you want most for yourself and maybe what you struggle with. So,
because it's all not always, but it's a projection, right? We are projecting. When I envy the success of others, I'm projecting myself, what I want myself for myself, right?
Right.
Makes sense?
So if you receive envy from others and criticize, you can say, thank you. I know you wish you were.
That's it. But exactly. But here's the point where I was trying to get at, and here we are. If I'm not, a mentally strong person, an emotionally strong person, with self-awareness, with self-consciousness, I will be very, locked. I'll maybe damaged. I will be damaged in a way that I won't be able to experience the success that I'm having, right?
Right. Just like my client who
exactly
wasn't able to fully appreciate her life because she felt the envy. Exactly.
There are many people like this, right? Do you have lots of clients like this?
Oh, it's a very common theme. Sure. It's, of course.
Not be able to appreciate the life that they have, especially because of the judgment of others?
Yes.
How does hypnotherapy help?
I think it helps you recognize that it's like being in that glass box. You could just crack it open and say, I don't need to be boxed in by these other people, by what I'm worried about people thinking. I'm worried about how people will see me. I can let go of that and just be free. It's their business if they're experiencing jealousy or envy. It doesn't have to, it can free your thinking very clearly when the client goes back and makes their own conclusions and can see it for themselves where those patterns started and then let them go. Just be free.
But here's the thing. I'm going to be a bit provocative now.
Okay.
Because I think it will help. Maybe it will help somebody that was watching and listening. Imagine that you have, a client that it's like this. So it has this story, he or she can't appreciate the life that she or he has built, right? Because of the judgment of others.
Mm-hmm.
And that person is not, mentally and emotionally strong.
Mm-hmm.
So this type of thinking, this type of ideas, philosophy, if you can say, doesn't work. Like, what type of techniques, if you can share, of course, what type of techniques do you use in your work that you can access the mind and help the person start to shift that mindset, right? Start to shift that mentality, that emotional locker.
So the mind learns by repetition. So the more you practice, say, replacing those bad words with the good words and picturing yourself in a good light and doing that, the stronger it's going to be. I encourage clients to implement meditation, either guided meditation or their own meditation every day, whether it's every morning before you get out of bed. Just lie there and visualize who you want to be. Very strong. Feel the emotions. Step into that future self and feel what it feels like. Feel what it feels like to dress, to walk, to stand tall, to have that confidence. See it in your mind and feel it in your body every day. And to also reflect on anybody who you have any negativity that you might need to forgive. And maybe it's just not one time. Maybe the same person comes up over and over, but that's okay. It's that repetition. And to let go of anybody that is causing you to have negativity, and to also reflect and let go and forgive yourself if you are holding on to anything that you need to forgive yourself for. And yeah, just a daily practice.
Daily practice, yeah.
Yeah. And, it's different for everybody. Some people are very good at, already have this part down. So it's a really personal, individualized practice, but a daily practice is really important.
And what about you? Did you have, a huge event on your life where hypnotherapy helped you get through it? If you can share, of course.
Let me think. For me, I think it was just recognizing patterns. It wasn't a big, huge, one life-changing. It was the power of forgiveness, yeah, in the beginning, like, But the more I practiced it, it was like, whoa, the more profound it became over time. And to the point where it was just like, wow, this is a profound, powerful practice that is mind-blowing. The power of forgiveness is incredible, or the power of gratitude. Those two things are so unbelievable. And it's not just in one moment, like, yay, I'm so grateful for the sunshine today. But if you maybe journaling's very good. Write what you're grateful for every day. And instead of being like, I'm grateful for the sun today, someday you wake up and you go, good morning, sunshine. I am so blessed and grateful that you're here in my day. The emotions become so real. And, so that gratefulness grows and becomes more and more real and easier to practice in the little moments.
The journaling is a very good tool. I use it a lot as well. And because we are extracting our thoughts literally to a paper, right? There's a good technique to use with journaling. I don't know if you heard of it, maybe, but for instance, when you want to really let's call it destroy those negative thoughts, those negative experiences, this technique is you journal everything you need to journal about that experience, all in one go, right? And then you put that journaling book, in a recipient, in the bin, whatever, and then you burn it. I don't know if you ever heard of this technique. I mean, we could discuss if it works or not, but I've tried it once and it's liberating because you journal, you have a traumatic experience. You journal about it, And I did this process, actually on the beach. We have good beaches. I'm sure. I don't know if you have visited them yet. I did it on the beach. I had a little bin, like, paint, the bins. I don't know if it's that is the name. Where we buy paint, to paint the walls.
Mm-hmm.
I had an empty one. So I journaled everything I need to journal. I put the journaling book there. I lit it up and just watched it burn away. I can't explain it, right? There is science. I don't think science can explain it. It's liberating. When you apply stuff like this.
Yeah.
How can we explain this?
I just find this amazing that you, bring this up even on the beach. When I was a teenager, I just graduated from high school and I was seeing a therapist, traditional talk therapy. And a lot of things came up, just anger. And, my therapist, told me that I should write letters to the people who had harmed me. And so I began doing that, and I found that I'd go to the beach, often go sit on the rocks and just journal, write these letters, angry letters that you could never speak. And, picture that person, write the letter with the intention of destroying it and just tear it into little pieces and throw it into the sea. There's something about, taking it from holding it inside. It's a release. You've said it. You've put your emotions out onto the paper. And you've let them go. You don't have to hold on to them anymore. You don't need external validation. You don't need that person necessarily to, read the letter or to know that that's how you felt. Sometimes that's healthy, but not always. You don't need any validation or justification for letting it go.
If you do that, for example, if you write a letter and you give that letter to that person, aren't you giving some power, some control to that person again on the process?
Yes. I think it depends on the individual situation. Sometimes maybe it's the right thing that, you've always needed to say these things and you just couldn't get it out. So you have to put it on paper to feel brave enough. Sometimes that step is a big step for somebody, just to communicate how they're feeling to somebody when that's foreign to speak.
Yeah, I understand it. I usually tend to think like this. I'm very analytical in some ways. If I would write a letter to give to someone who hurt me, maybe, I think I would be giving some power, some control on the process. And if my goal is to end the process, right, to really be at peace with the process, I think destroying the letter is a very good option.
Yes, because you don't need them to justify you letting go. And
if you have the urge to give the letter to that person, it's like you said, you still need that external validation on the process.
Let the cheerleader, let that coach say, you don't need that anymore.
No.
No, you can throw that away.
You mentioned it, coaching a bit here. I'm curious about something. So I don't know if you know, right? But how is the coaching world in the US? It's very different from here, right? Do you have that knowledge?
I'm not sure how it is here. I know we do have a big community of life coaches, all types with different names, life purpose coaches, all kinds of different directions. But it's very popular. Usually it's a small course. It's not a degree or a big study program that you go through. There are more advanced,
but it's evolving, right? It's evolving. At least here in Portugal, I've been tracking that department, let's say like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's still very pseudoscience, right? So not pseudoscience. So it's very mocked still, for innumerous reasons. But I've seen, universities inclusive, so they are including the specialities on the courses.
Yeah.
So post graduations and whatnot. So
I think that a good coach is probably more valuable than just a hypnotherapy session, because you have so many different tools that they use. And I had a profound shift, from a life coach at one point.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't do coaching. You just do hypnotherapy.
I just do hypnotherapy.
Okay.
Yes. And sometimes it's a few sessions, but usually, that's it. It's, for a specific reason or problem. And it's very effective in one session or 3 sessions. I think a coach has, a different role a little bit. It's, more to support maybe the aha moment. They can help, encourage and integrate changes and address all kinds of different areas. For a person, it's definitely a longer term support role.
Yeah, it's different. It's very different. Yeah. What was that life changing event, if you can call it like that you had with that life coach? What have you unlocked and discovered?
I think I